Have you noticed fatigue, poor sleep, brain fog, and you're gaining weight, and maybe you've got heavy periods or painful periods, and you're feeling flat or depressed or low, and you've been told it's just perimenopause or menopause? Well, what a lot of women don't realise is that these symptoms of perimenopause and menopause can overlap with symptoms of an underfunctioning thyroid gland. And this is what's called as thyropause and is not commonly known of or talked about. Hi, I'm Kate Driver and I'm a naturopath of over 26 years now, and I've helped thousands of women over that time with their menopause and perimenopausal symptoms and thriving through this stage of their lives very naturally and easily. And what I wanted to talk about is the symptoms of low thyroid function, because they often overlap with perimenopause and menopausal symptoms, and what to look out for. So the reason why this happens in the first place is because of these fluctuating hormones, particularly in perimenopause when they're fluctuating a lot. And the thyroid can actually respond quite a lot to having lower progesterone levels, which generally starts to happen in your mid to late 30s. So some of these symptoms of low thyroid function can actually start happening then, and it can be misunderstood as perimenopause. So low progesterone is one of the triggers, and the fluctuating hormones, particularly when estrogen is going up and down and all over the place. Then long-term stresses and long-term stress to the nervous system, because so many women are just busy and pushing through and not looking after themselves, they're looking after everybody else. So this is going to cause a lot more cortisol production over the years, and this binds up a lot of the thyroid hormones. And then there's things such as inflammation and other illnesses that can actually cause an underfunctioning thyroid as well. And a big one, which I just mentioned, which is a symptom of low thyroid, is lack of sleep, and not getting enough sleep is going to affect every part of your body, including the thyroid gland. And exposure to chemicals and toxins and heavy metals, these actually have a big influence on how the thyroid functions. So what are the symptoms that you want to look out for, apart from what I mentioned at the beginning, which is really fatigue, exhaustion, weight gain, poor sleeping, brain fog? It can be other symptoms such as constipation some people start suffering with. They might start feeling depressed and get diagnosed with depression, but it's not really known why. There can also be a feeling of being cold all the time and feeling like you can't really sort of control your temperature easily, and poor temperature regulation, which means you get hot really easily and then cold really easily and can't sort of stay regular, a good temperature all the time. And I mentioned heavy periods and painful periods. When you get heavier bleeding, this can also be low thyroid function and the estrogen dominance. And then women also start putting on weight and wonder why, because they're not doing anything wrong. And this is one of the most common when everything else has been looked at, but there's no reason for it. And so often it's because the thyroid gland starts slowing down. And this is more common than people realise, because it's so underdiagnosed, because doctors don't test properly, and we don't have the knowledge as much about what's happening in this stage of your life about the thyroid gland, as well as all the symptoms of perimenopause and menopause. So it's often a bit overlooked and just assumed that it's because of this midlife change. So what can you do to begin with? You could start exercising if you're not, or exercise regularly every day. This actually helps our thyroid and our whole metabolism function more efficiently. But before you do that, getting morning sunlight is really important, because this actually helps our body and our thyroid produce these thyroid hormones in the first place. When we get that exposure to sunlight through our eyes in the morning, this will trigger the thyroid hormone production. So this is really important that you get morning sunlight. Exercise, particularly in the morning if you feel sluggish all day. This will increase your metabolism. And also, it has been shown that blue light from all the devices that we use is actually slowing their thyroid function down too, because it stimulates cortisol. And when we have far too much cortisol, this slows the conversion of the thyroid hormones also, and binds up some of that active thyroid hormone. So reducing this exposure is a really important first tip to start with. And if you'd like more tips, I am running a free workshop, a 5-day live workshop, and it's on very soon. I will put the link below. I'd love you to join. It's interactive, and I will be going through how to feel great in midlife. It's all about feeling better energy-wise and sleeping better and just feeling like yourself again. It's called the Midlife Fatigue Fix. I'll put the link below. I'd love to see you there. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. Thanks for listening. Bye.